Steve Sarkisian was asked a question at his press conference this week about play calling and how he would approach that, and essentially if he would give up play calling. And his response I thought was awesome. He basically just says, no, I'm not giving up play calling. I was hired to be the head coach at Texas because I was an awesome play caller, because I was a great offensive coordinator. So no, I'm not going to give up the thing that made me the ultimate head coach at Texas when it comes to how this whole thing is shaking out. And I was really curious to see how the Texas fan base would respond to that thought. My gut reaction was, I think Texas fans understand that for the most part, Texas has been pretty good offensively. I think they understand that's why they hired Steve Sarkisian. I don't think Texas fans are going to be clamoring for Sark to give up the play calling. And I was kind of surprised by the room being pretty split there. You see some folks saying, yeah, let's not overreact. Saw a lot of folks, though, saying he's got too much on his plate. Sark, maybe you got to delegate a little bit here, brother. Maybe you got to be more of a CEO. Maybe it would be good for Sark to give up play calling. And I'm a little bit baffled by that. I get it, the offense hasn't been great. I understand that. But you have a standard in Austin right now of playing borderline elite offensive football since Steve Sarkisian's got there, right? That's why you feel this way. Well, who created that standard? Who made you think that you deserve to have great offensive football for Texas? Steve Sarkisian. Why? Because he's been calling the plays. Because he's been designing the offense and recruiting the personnel and all those things to make you be in a spot now where he can call the plays and be successful. Steve Sarkisian has had a top 25 offense in every single year when it comes to scoring since getting to Texas. Like this year, it hasn't been that. But Steve Sarkisian being the common denominator, still being in place for all those offenses, and then you have a new quarterback and a brand new offensive line, is it more on the play caller? Or is it maybe a little bit more reasonable to assume, hey, the new personnel might be the reason why the production offensively has dropped off a little bit, and not the guy that everybody that's college football or football royalty seems to trust when it comes to offensive football? Like the Mannings, they're not wasting their time sending Arch to play somewhere where he's not going to get developed or have good plays called for him. Make no mistake, Arch is at Texas because of development and because of Sark. And those two things kind of go hand in hand in general. If the Mannings trust Steve Sarkisian, I think we'd all be okay to trust Steve Sarkisian too. The NFL, the best in the world. People that get paid millions upon millions. There's 32 of them in existence. Steve Sarkisian was one of those 32 play callers at one point in time. The NFL's not wasting their time. Nick Saban, the best head coach ever, says, I want Steve Sarkisian to call my plays for me. And just because we've had a little bit of a slow start here for Texas, or a slow year in general relative to previous years, we're saying he shouldn't call the plays? That to me is wild. Absolutely wild. And a big thought behind this idea that he shouldn't call plays anymore is the idea that he's got too much on his plate. And I'm like, well, if he's got too much on his plate, he's eating greedy right now. Saying, well, he should just focus on recruiting and maybe not play. He's recruiting at an elite level right now. They had the number one class last cycle. If things were falling off his plate, wouldn't we have seen that by now? Like, yes, the offense has dropped off a little bit, but it's not so much a Sark thing. Again, it's a personnel thing. You've recruited in the top 10 every year since 2022. Recruiting's not taking a hit. NIL, you want to outsource that? Sure. If you want to have more people manage personnel, sure. But Sark is doing a phenomenal job when it comes to recruiting. I think actually play calling is the last thing I would take away from Sark. Outsource other stuff. He's a phenomenal play caller. That makes zero sense to me. So why is Texas having issues if it's not play calling, JD? I don't love running a reverse flea flicker on 3rd and 3. Whatever. Okay, I hear you. It is what it is. It's an aggressive play call. I don't think anyone calls a perfect game ever in the history of college football. But you can't run the ball. You're 66 in yards per carry, and you can't protect Arch. You're number 77 when it comes to sacks allowed at a rate. And you have a first-year starting quarterback that, unfortunately for Texas fans, is playing like a first-year starting quarterback. Now he's had time to sit, and you're saying, what was he doing all those years? I don't know. But I don't think that's a Sark thing so much as it is a personnel thing. So I get the idea that the offense hasn't done enough lately, but if we're putting this on Sark as a play caller, that to me is a little bit rich for my blood. He's called plays at the highest level. A lot of people trust him to call plays at the highest level. He's done a great job calling plays until this year. Is it on Sark that the offense is dropping off, or is it maybe the fact you have a bunch of new personnel and it's not being executed at the high enough level just yet? I don't know. Feels pretty cut and dry to me.